Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. I've had a lot of questions from subscribers about what my wife's get home kit, get home bag looks like, the items that are in it, and some of the mindset behind those things. So it's kind of the transition here between summer and winter. I'm going through our kits today and kind of updating stuff for the winter coming up, checking things over. So I thought it'd be a good time to go over her kit here and kind of explain some of the things that are in here and how they differ from what my get home bag is compared to what her stuff is. And whenever you're making a kit up for somebody, whether it's a spouse or somebody else, I personally think that that needs to start with a kind of an interview, so to speak. Because the main thing that one of these bags is supposed to do is support them to get home in a bad situation. I mean, I could just cram this stuff full of gear that I think's important, but that might not be important to the other person. To, in this case, my wife. So when I first made her a bag up, I pretty much had a little conversation with her. I said, hey, what do you want this bag to do? What do you want this to support you in? And then after I had the bag put together, I kind of sat down with her and went through the items that are in this bag. Is this right for you? Is this the kind of things that you think or you're going to need? And then it was kind of the back and forth of what she thought she needed, why. I had put the stuff in there, and that's kind of I think how putting together a bag should be. So, like I said, this all started out with a conversation basically of what she wanted this bag to do, and she was real adamant about a couple of things. She doesn't want to be cold, and if all possible, she does not want to spend a night out in the woods by herself. And I think those are very reasonable things. I'm a wood tick, so if something happens, I'm going to grab my pack. If I got to go to the woods for 3 days, that ain't going to bother me one bit. In fact, I'm probably going to be in my element. But her, not so much. She wants to, make it home as quickly as possible under the circumstances. So that's the kind of the items that I have in here is to support her in those type things. And these items ride in her vehicle. This pack has been in her car for probably about 2 to 3 years. It might even be a little longer than 3 years, but I'm going to say about 3 years that this pack has been riding around with her. And I update it from time to time, check batteries and, lights and change the water bottles out and that kind of stuff. But I'm going to kind of show you this stuff here. First thing I'm going to show you is a couple things that aren't in the bag. And one, I'm a firm believer in Gore-Tex, and both me and my wife have Gore-Tex jackets that we carry in our pack. This is hers right here. Anything with Gore-Tex in it, it's worth its weight in gold. It's warm, it's waterproof, it's just great. And then the other thing that doesn't ride in the bag is a good pair of warm waterproof boots. Everybody should have these in the northern states in their vehicles come October right on through. So those are the two things that kind of sit with this pack. This pack as it sits right here is just a little bit over 18 pounds with water. That seems a little heavy, but I've went over everything in this pack with my wife to see if she wanted that in there, if it was good, if it was bad, and she kind of gave her right off and a blessing that these are the things that kind of checked off that it was good to go for her. So first I'm going to kind of go over the outside of the pack here. This is just got this at Walmart a few years ago. It's just kind of a heavy duty pack. Haven't had any issues as far as the straps or anything. Nothing's come loose on this. It's kind of the Molly design here, and I like that design because I can put stuff on the outside of this. And this bag sort of looks like what my bag looks like, except it's a little bit smaller. Mine is a little larger bag because, of course, I got more crap in it. But one thing that I like with bags like this is I like having a knife on the outside of the bag. That way that you can access this knife without having to dig around in this bag, because a knife is kind of important. It's one of the most, if not the most used tools in one of these packs. So I have this knife mounted on the outside here so she can access that, and that's not just for utility purposes, but it would also be for self-defense purposes. It's just if you take your pack off and set it down, you can grab that knife quickly. Most gals don't wear a belt, so putting a belt knife on, especially like if they're at work or something, it's not really practical to put a knife on a belt for a gal, so it's going to be on her pack right here. If she grabs this pack, the knife's going to be right here for her. And the other thing I got on the outside of the pack here, so I got a little, you can see it right there, is a small tube of pepper spray. And that same thing, this just kind of Velcros on here with a little attachment. This is like a runner's model. She could take this off here. She could put this in her pocket, however she wants to do it at the time. But anyway, again, this is on the outside of the pack. So if she has to grab this, it's right there. She doesn't have to dig around in the pack looking for it. I also got a bottle of water on the outside here. It's the same thing. This is just a smart water bottle, and the smart water bottles, the tops are compatible with mini Sawyers. I do have a mini Sawyer in here for her. Water is something that's going to be heavy. If you decide to carry quite a bit of water, you're going to have to pay for it with carrying it. And the bottle that I have in here, it's kind of a little bit larger size bottle, the smart water bottle. Those smart water bottles are about 2.5 pounds a piece. So if you're going to add 2 of those bottles into this pack, you're going to add at least 4 to 5 pounds of weight into your pack. Now, we live in an area where you can forage water, you could melt snow, you could do those things, but those things are going to take time up. And I would just as soon she has some water in her pack from the get-go so she can just keep on trucking if she wants to. For me, I don't carry water in my pack because I would just go out and forage some water in most circumstances. But I'm going to tip the camera down here a little bit to try to show you guys what's all in this guy here. There's a pack on the top here, a little zipper pouch. I got pretty much tools in here that I think that she would need. And again, like I said, we went over all this stuff. She gave her blessing to all the stuff that I have in here. Just a basic compass. And then I got 2 different lights in here. I got a headlamp. A couple times a year I'll check these headlamps, make sure that the batteries and stuff are good in them. And this particular headlamp right here, I got a piece of tape over the switch, and that's so this switch doesn't get bumped, turned on, and these batteries die. So that's what that looks like here. Headlamp, she would like a headlamp in case she has to walk and be able to see what's going on at night, and that's why the headlamp is in there. And then just a regular flashlight. And this is actually a Surefire flashlight. I like Surefire flashlights. They're expensive, but I have yet to break one. So that's what this guy is right here. This is just a basic Surefire here. I believe it's a 6P. I've had this light for many, many years, and it's riding in her pack now. And you can see there, it's very, very bright. Takes the lithium batteries, so they stand up to the cold a little bit more. And then the other 2 things I got in here, I got a mini Sawyer for her, and that mini Sawyer will go onto that smart water bottle that I already showed you. And then I got a multi-tool in here out of the pack, and this is just so she could fix things. And this also has a scissors on it, and let me get to that here in a little bit. I have a first aid kit for her in this pack, and the scissors would help cutting those first aid supplies if necessary. And I also have KT tape in her first aid kit, and that would be if she needed to cut a pad for a blister, something like that, because of course, you know, she wants to walk straight through. She doesn't want to stop if all possible, so I kind of want to support her in that walk. But getting into the next pouch here, this is kind of the snack pouch. I got this filled right full of Cliff bars, Kind bars, drink powder. This is apple cider mix here. It's got vitamin C in it. This pouch right here, because it's on the top of the pack, it's easy to grab these bars out for a snack, so you can just keep on trucking. You know, that's kind of the purpose of this. And then down here, this is basically medical and sanitation stuff in here. I'm going to go through this first. You can see here I got these toggles on this pack, and they're woven into each other, and that's to keep these guys from working themselves loose while you're moving. So that's how I got that there. Open this up. And the first thing I got on top here, it's not really medical, But it's her battery pack. It's her battery charger. It's got the charging cord. It's got the charging cord for this pack. It's got a plug-in attachment, and this is a fairly large one. This holds several charges. This has to be charged from time to time to keep it up. But I want her to have the ability to charge her phone on the move if she would like. I've thought about doing a like a solar charging one, but if you're moving at night or it's inclement weather or whatever, I'm not sure that that's going to work for her. And so I just kind of went with this guy right here. Just kind of keep an eye on this to make sure that it's charged up all the time, because I kind of want her to keep on moving if possible. And got some dust masks in here. Pretty self-explanatory on that. I got some wipes. And then I got her first aid kit here. Now, this first aid kit is fairly similar to what I carry in my pack. It's a waterproof phone case here. You can get them for about $5 at Walmart or wherever. But I like these because they're real heavy duty and they're completely waterproof, so you can keep your medical supplies dry. I also got some hand warmers on here. Going into winter, these hand warmers, they say 10 hours on there, but they last like 6 to 8-ish hours. But there's 4 of them on here, so then that'll give her a hand warmer if she needs it to warm up a little bit. And then here's the KT tape that I was talking to you about earlier. This can be used to, kind of wrap an ankle, or you can cut this stuff to make a blister pad. Let's see if I can pop this open here real quick, or at least show you what I got in here. I got some Celox clotting agent in there. I got some butterflies. I got some bandages. I got some gauze pads. Got it kind of all wrapped up there with a rubber band. I got band-aids. I got butterflies, gauze pads. And then I also got a little bit of medication here. I got some anti-diarrheal pills, and I also got some anti-nausea pills, and along with a couple antiseptic wipes, a little bit of lip balm. This stuff would come in actually pretty handy if it's cold outside, because you're going to be able to you can actually use this stuff on cracked hands, and it's not just for lips. This is actually really good stuff to carry. I'm going to close this up here, set it off to the side. And I got some bottled stuff in here. I got some foot powder, again, because she wants to walk straight through. Got Tylenol, hand sanitizer. It's a good time to talk about prescription medication. If anybody takes prescription medication, you're going to want to have at least probably 3 days worth of that prescription medication in any of your bags. Got her some hand soap. Again, if you're out in the wilderness for any period of time, you're going to get dirty. And then I got this chafe stick right here. And what this chafe stick is keeps you from chafing. I mean, it goes on kind of like deodorant on legs or arms or whatever, but if you're walking a long distance, sometimes chafing can be an issue. So I have included a pack of this in her kit. Put this back together here. Now I'm going to get into the main pack here. Going to pop this stuff open. Move all this stuff out of here. See if I can't show you guys what I got in here. And like I said, we sat down and we went over all the stuff that's in this pack, so she knows exactly what's in here. Got a schmog here. It's a white one going into winter. That's probably a good thing. And she can use this as a scarf for her face or cover her head, whatever she needs it for. This is sort of a universal thing in most bags that people carry. Spare pair of socks. These are actually a wick dry hiking sock. These are actually really warm for the weight. Spare pair of socks is kind of important because you can, take your other socks off. You can switch socks off so they don't get a lot of perspiration in them, and they can dry out a little bit. But the foot powder would go along and conjoining with this, a couple shots of foot powder in here before you would change these out. And a lot of this stuff that's in here is for cold weather. And in my experience, cold weather bags are going to weigh more than warm weather bags just because of the amount of clothing and stuff that you have in them. Hat and gloves right on top. She can grab these to put these on, keep her hands and her head warm, along with that schmog. It's kind of their first line of defense against the cold. Inexpensive poncho in here. This is like a ground cloth, I guess. If she has to sit down somewhere that it's wet for a couple of minutes, she can toss this down, not have to worry about getting her clothes wet. Not a real expensive one, but it still could help out. I always hike with a poncho, and not so much for rain, but like I said, for a ground cloth. Then this guy right here is this is an M65 field liner, and what this is this is just a big puffy insulation. It doesn't have any. This actually buttons into an M65 field coat. But she doesn't have an M65 field coat. I already showed you that Gore-Tex jacket that she wears. And this guy right here, if you put this on and you put that coat over top of it, it basically doubles the insulation value of that Gore-Tex coat that I showed you earlier. It doesn't weigh much. It's kind of bulky. It does take up a little bit of space. But again, this is just an extra layer of protection when you're walking in the cold. This might come in very, very handy, and it's not something so bulky like a blanket or something. Like I said, you can just wear this. And another piece of clothing I got in here. This is long johns, just basic polypropylene long johns. Same thing. If it's cold, you got a thin pair of jeans or something on, or dress pants. This can be put on, and then the other pants put over top of it. Throw those hiking socks on. You're going to have quite a bit more warmth. It's the whole layering principle. You know, I want her to have the ability to layer her clothing as she's doing what she needs to do. And then basically got some food in here. These are field stripped MREs. I pretty much take MREs apart, take out all the stuff that's not needed, and then retape them back up. This is 2 full MREs right here, so most MREs are about 1,500 calories or so a piece, so this is about 3,000 calories in this. And then I've also included a little can of chicken here for her, and this is kind of her favorite backpack meal. It's a pad thai. It's kind of like a peanut butter noodle type thing, but this can be added into this with some boiling water and make an extra meal on top of the MREs. And like I said, it's her favorite, so she has something that she likes when she's out in case, you know, something bad's happening. It's kind of a morale booster, so to speak. And then the last thing I got in here, this is the fire kit that I got in here. This isn't near as extensive as what my fire kit is, but these are some universal things that I carry with mine as well. You know, she's not going to be out there ferro rodding it and feather sticking it and, you know, trying to build a shelter and all that other stuff. She just wants to keep on moving along. So what I have here is I have just the basic backpack stove, just a canister of gas, folding Coleman backpack stove, and I got two Bic lighters, both wrapped in tape, one electrical tape, one Gorilla tape, and of course a metal cup here so she can boil some water. Boiling water is something that was kind of important to me that she had, so I included that in here. And then of course a little can of lighter fluid in case she has to make a fire outside of this. I don't imagine that she would do that, but I still want her to have some kind of accelerant like that to start a fire if necessary. But that's basically what my wife's kit looks like. Like I said, it's just slightly over 18 pounds with the stuff that's in it, and kind of wanted to show this to you guys today, give you a general idea of what I set aside here for my wife and what she has in her vehicle. Bags are very, very personalized, and I think it's important that you know, folks have conversations if they're putting together bags for other people, you know, about what you know, what should be in them and stuff. So this is hope this answers some of those questions from them subscribers that asked me questions on this about what I have here for my wife. And like I said, this is the winter months. If it would be summer months, we of course wouldn't have all that clothing in there, but we'd have stuff like bug spray, and we'd have suntan lotion, that kind of stuff to protect from the sun, stuff like sunglasses. Those would be the items items that would be more so in the summer pack. But I wanted to show this to you guys. I hope you guys got a little information, a little entertainment out of this video here, going over what I have in here for my wife's pack. But this is Modern Refugee. I appreciate all you guys out there, and you guys have a great day.